Almost everyone has a checking account, but the amount of money people keep in their checking accounts varies widely. Checking account balances tend to vary with income, age, and other factors. Deciding how much money to keep in your personal checking account requires looking at more than your paycheck and birth certificate. However, here's what you need to know. Most people with checking accounts use them regularly for spending, often multiple times a day. They tap funds in their accounts using debit cards, online transfers, automatic drafts, ATM transactions, cash withdrawals, and old-fashioned paper checks. Checking accounts are tools, not investments, but they are some of the most well-worn utensils in nearly everyone's financial kit. They enable countless vital financial tasks, from paying rent and buying groceries to gassing up the car and keeping the electricity turned on. Obviously, you don't want your checks to bounce, since that will cost you overdraft fees. Perhaps somewhat less obviously, you don't want to keep more money in checking than you need. That's because most checking accounts don't pay interest on the balance, and interest-bearing checking accounts generally pay lower rates than other accounts and investments. With all this in mind, what's the ideal checking account balance? No single answer suits everybody. Some people need more, some less. But it's relatively easy to figure out your own ideal checking account balance if you examine the relevant factors. The average checking account balance is about $9,100, but this might not be the right number for everyone. For one thing, that average is inflated by a relatively small number of people who keep large balances. The median, which is the point at which half the people have more and half have less, is about $2,900. Behind those broad measures of the whole population of checking account holders, you can find variations around individuals' specific characteristics. Not surprisingly, those with higher incomes tend to have larger checking account balances. Less obviously, perhaps, as people grow older, checking account balances also tend to increase, peaking around ages 65-74. The takeaway here is that whatever figure you decide is your ideal checking balance, be prepared to revise it as you age or if you start earning more. The theoretical ideal amount might seem to be exactly as much as you will need to cover any outflows until the next time your paycheck, investment dividend distribution, monthly government or pension benefit, or other source of income arrives to bulk your account back up. That would mean avoiding any overdraft fees and not leaving a penny more than necessary in a no or low interest deposit account. But there's more to this calculation than that. Also consider unanticipated outflows, pre-authorization holds, account minimums, emergencies and special cases, lost earnings. To complicate the issue, the type of account matters. For instance, some checking accounts don't have minimums or charge low or no fees. If you ask your bank about basic or student accounts, you may be able to identify some of these and be less concerned about having a low balance. To help you stay on top of your balance and manage it for best advantage, consider budgeting apps that track your spending. The ideal checking account balance varies based on individual circumstances and the need to balance competing concerns. At a minimum, you want to keep enough in there to avoid bounce checks and overdrafts and their associated fees and other inconveniences. But you don't want to go overboard avoiding fees, because then you would be missing out on money you could earn by putting it in an interest-bearing account or investment. Okay, so I believe that's enough for this video. If you find it helpful, consider subscribing and giving this a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.